These extensive areas like this are an absolute privilege to manage and to live in and to look after, but they come with extreme challenges. The logistics are difficult. Very often they're in countries that are not entirely stable, with elements of conflict, poaching, weather conditions that are often quite a risk to any operation. Added to that is the fact that on a business front, being able to get enough tourism in, or the size of the quotas for the hunting safaris are inadequate to run operations properly. And to all intents and purposes, we are standalone entities. We receive very little support in the actual day-to-day management of the blocks. So in order to overcome that, we've moved to a hybrid model. We have commercial streams, which probably generate close to half of what we need to half of the absolute minimum that we need to get by. Then on top of that, we have set up a foundation registered in Mozambique, and we have a 501c3 in the States. And we are trying to gain some traction on generating donor and philanthropic funding towards assisting with the management. We have employed a dedicated person with all the right skills and background to run our foundation. Obviously, the donor world has its own models and demands, and I've never really had a background with that, and so I'm really happy that we have Ashley on board to drive that vehicle.
My background is 25 years in international development, from health development to workforce development to economic development and strengthening for communities in particular, but really taking a look at how we effectively can work with our most vulnerable populations to get them involved and see themselves as the solution for the challenges that they face. Because a lot of what we do in development is to see communities and our most vulnerable as points for information or implementation of programs and that sort of thing. And really the work that I've done over the years and the work that we are trying to do with the Lugenda Foundation is to change and shift that narrative. So we are helping communities to see themselves as the solution and therefore be empowered and responsible for the way that they and their families stabilize and then move forward and develop. So we do livelihoods projects where we are working with community members on developing and growing agriculture through some protected agriculture areas, where we are demonstrating that in this context, when we have protected environments and protected areas of land, we can grow and we can produce much more yield on a smaller piece of land. So under those protected agricultural units, we are having community members come in there and work, particularly start to grow horticulture and just practice their skills as farmers. We're going to send a number of farmers off this year to be trained in Zimbabwe in a specific climate smart agriculture technique and methodology that we know works and that we've seen ultimately producing 8 to 10 tons per hectare. So we are improving community skills. Our community members and community team who are going out to do that training will be trained as trainers, so they will come back and then that information will cascade to other farmers in the area who can then see those small protected areas working and be invigorated in terms of participation, and then hopefully we will then be able to grow those protected agricultural areas that aren't blocking game corridors, but they are providing protected spaces where farmers' crops are not interrupted by elephant or even the small game.
We run the operation as a not-for-profit. Any surplus from the commercial operations channels through into the foundation. As we stand, we are getting by. We are probably keeping up with what most larger organizations do for 6 to 12 times the cost, but our real needs are more like 2 to 3 times what we are presently operating on to be truly sustainable, to be able to recapitalize when we need to, and to really secure this on a solid footing.